Hey guys, so in today's video I thought I would quickly go over a little bit of information about our routine before patients arrive for nighttime sleep studies. So obviously this would be different during the day because we don't really do the same type of studies, and the routine and process for doing sleep studies during the daytime is different than if you were doing them at night. So usually there is one sleep tech working on the night shift. However, currently, because I am not certified yet, I am still in training, I work with another sleep tech. And usually what happens is we like to arrive at least an hour early. So if we have patients scheduled for 7, even though our actual shift time is not supposed to be until 7 p.m., we will have to come in an hour early. So we will be here at 6 p.m. So we get here early. We then have to go inside and get linens. So there's nobody really during the daytime that makes the beds. I try to help the sleep tech if I'm working day shift and she's working night shift. I will try to make the beds if I have extra time during the day. Like on Mondays and Tuesdays, there's not usually a lot of extra time. But if I do have extra time, I will try to go and get those linens and make the beds for her, because I know that she absolutely hates making the beds. She's told me multiple times that it is like one of her least favorite things to do to prepare for sleep studies, or least favorite thing to do at work is making the beds for her. So after we get the linens, we bring those upstairs. We have like a big rolling cart that we bring them upstairs with. And when we get there, I usually check the messages on the voicemail just to make sure that no patient has canceled or like called to say they were running late or anything like that. So it's good to check the voicemail as soon as we get there. After I check the voicemail, I will look and see, what the patients are for the night, if they are PSGs, which is a polysomnogram, or if they are CPAP titration, which is somebody who has already started on therapy, whether it is CPAP or bilevel or ASV. It's still called a titration study. We just call it a CPAP titration, which basically is making sure that they are on the right device at the right pressure that works for their situation, whether it is obstructive apnea, central apnea, whatever the case may be. So after I've looked at that, I will make the beds, obviously, and then I usually will print off flow sheets. So we have 2 separate flow sheets. They're actually questionnaires that go into a flow sheet, I should say. So we have a bedtime questionnaire, which gives us a picture of how their day went, if it was anything out of the ordinary or if it was basically a typical day for them. And then there is a morning time questionnaire that we ask them before they leave in the morning. And that is basically to give us a picture of if the night that they had was a typical night for them, or again, if it was anything out of the ordinary or anything that we should know that normally happens on a regular night. There's a spot for them to answer those types of questions. So I will usually print one of those out for each of the patients, although recently I started including them in our little packets that we use to schedule patients. So then everything is kind of printed out in case you're running late for whatever reason, or you forget to print it out. It's right there handy so that you can just grab it and ask the patient whenever they show up. So then after all of that's done, I will usually start to set up the room. Like we have a specific room that we usually do our patient hookups in. And a patient hookup is basically just attaching all of the leads and sensors in order to do the sleep study. So we have EEG leads, we have sticker sensors that go on their face, we have snore mics, we have cannulas to measure airflow and things like that. We have belts that measure respiratory effort on the chest and the abdomen, and we have leg leads, and I think that's it. I think I mentioned everything. So just make sure that we have everything that we need kind of set up, so that it's quick and easy and takes the least amount of time when the patient is already there, because we don't like to have patients sit there and wait for us to grab everything, because you never know, like there could be a patient who wants to sit there for a while before they get hooked up. And then there's also patients who, like, as soon as they get there, they change into their pajamas and they're ready to get hooked up for the night. So it all is just going to depend on the person and the situation, but I like to have all of that stuff ready. So like all of the gauze, all of the tape, to tape sensors to like the forehead and things like that. I definitely like to make sure that everything is taken care of in that aspect, so that, like I said, we can just grab it and set up the patient. So once we have all of that set up, it's just kind of waiting for the patient to arrive. So our patients, since our sleep center is located within a hospital, our patients basically check in the emergency department because the rest of the hospital is locked at that time. So the ER admitting person, whoever is working that night, will call us when our patients arrive, and then we have to go down and get them. But that is what a typical routine looks like before we have patients arrive for sleep studies at night on the night shift. Like I said, it is different when we are doing daytime sleep studies, but we don't do daytime sleep studies very often. A majority of what we do during the daytime is home sleep tests, and that takes like maybe 5 or 10 minutes tops to explain to a person how to use the device at home, because we're basically just giving them the device, instructing them on how to use the device, and then sending that person home with the home sleep testing device. There's really not much more to it than that. But I just thought that it would be helpful to share with you guys what a typical routine is before patients start arriving for the night. And yeah, if you guys have any questions or would like to know any more information about what we do as sleep techs, let me know. I'd be glad to share some information. And yeah, I will talk to you guys next time.